This is a major policy failure for someone like you who is directly involved in farming in rice. How bad is the situation?
It's terrible. But this is not a glass problem, so it's not a glass, clearly a policy failure, and I don't think governments take rice seriously. They just pay lip service. And I still don't see the policy direction, really, in this particular matter. And it's a very simple matter. It's a cost matter. It's a cost matter. The local rice has two issues. One, there's a behavioral issue that has to do with utility from people's taste preferences. That's one. But if you get to understand local rice, you realize it's actually tastier than all the basmatis and all that.
Correct, correct.
It's very easy. Anytime I do blind tasting, everybody just takes the local rice, running for jollof, everything. It's the best, anytime. I'm not a rice fan, but when I taste local rice, I get stuck to it. And I think we are sort of overcoming that. The real thing is the economics of it. I'll tell you, let's just do some maths together so everybody will just sort of understand what goes on. Producing paddy today should be about 25,000 cedis for a hectare. And that should give you about 5 tons, thereabouts. So 5 tons, take your calculator, divide, that's per hectare. So 25,000 divided by 5 tons, that should bring you to 5,000 cedis a ton. Divide that by 1,000, and that gives you 5 cedis per kilo. So you add 5 cedis per kilo for paddy. Now you do 5 cedis per kilo, add 1 cedi for milling. That's 6 cedis. Now these 6 cedis, by the time you are done, you won't get 100% of it back. The recovery rate is about 0.65. So divide that by, so 6 divided by 0.65. That tells you you're going to get 9.2 cedis for a total mix of fully milled rice. Now this fully milled rice, just about 60%, that's like a best deal. So really half of it is what is a long grain that you typically will consume. All right, then the rest are heavily broken. So even let's just take this one as your base. And in all this, I'm talking about cost. There's no financial cost. There's no capex, nothing. Meaning that the variable cost you throw in is what you're just taking in. Transportation, zero. Margin, zero. I'm just telling you, pure cost matter. Right. You come and see what's happening on the market. Now, multiply this by 50 kilos. This is 461 cedis. No capex, no transportation, no margin. Zero, nothing. No loss from carriage. Now, forget about that one at all. Nothing. This is where you are. 461 is for 50 kg. And this is not long grain. This is scattered thing. All right? The long grain today, which is just about 50% of this 460, one mix of a kilo, is sold today at about, for the imported ones, around 400 for those ones that compare. 400 cedis. So even at 400 cedis, getting an import at 400 cedis, your local rice production costs nothing added. All right, it's 461, and it's not even at, it's not 100%, it's not a 5% broken level. So this one, practically 40% of it is broken. Only 60% is long grain. So if you actually want to match this, then they are actually going to be going up in cost at around 600 cedis. In cost. So the rice today, even in the places where we have produced rice, you find more imported brands on the shelf than you find here. But this is the real cost of producing it. And this is raw, bare bone. No financial cost, no transportation, no middleman margin, nothing. This is where we are. Who is going to buy? Now, the person has produced this at 5 cedis. And zero margin. And this 5 cedis is one of the efficient production you will see. Other than that, typically you are doing around 6 cedis a kilo. Today, people are being forced to sell at 5. And I just told you, this is not, if the farmer hasn't made a margin, the producer hasn't made a margin, the miller hasn't, nobody has made a margin. So even the farmer at the farm gate, deciding to sell from 6 to 1 to 5, is losing a cedi a kilo of paddy. Meanwhile, you should typically be selling it at maybe 8 thereabouts. Look at the differential you have, and I'll tell you, you had last year we had the dollar at 17, right? Am I right?
You're right.
Okay. So we had 11 divided by 17. Okay, so you've had a 34% recovery on the value. All right, so you have the dollar drop by about 36%. Check the other side, or 35%. Check the other side. I take fertilizer. Fertilizer used to be 420, 390 now. Now it's 390 now, and then it used to be before 420. So 390. Everybody carry your calculator. We are doing it together. I don't want anybody to say Senyo come say something. Divided by 420. All right, minus 1. Okay. You just have a 7% drop in the cost of fertilizer. But the dollar has dropped by 35%. The import reacts to that dollar quicker. So where are we? So the cost of imports has dropped by about 35%. The input for farmers have only dropped by 7%. The capex that I bought last year is still there. So, and all this, I've not even added capex. So the variable cost today does not make sense for you to even plant. So me, I just did test planting. I've only made for me and my wife and my children. You come to my house, you eat some. I'm not selling anything.
Oh, this year won't get rice to buy from
no, forget. I stopped though from last year. I knew that the policy was wrong. We did a bit more, a little last year. I was doing 1,500, almost 1,500 acres a year. And I smelt my pepper. And I realized the only way to fix this is for us to have proper policy. Our policy makers either don't know what they are doing or they are just stealing.
What will make this right?
To make it starts with policy. So I'll tell you the other bit of it. And it's all driven by the importers. They manipulate the market. When I went full haul, and I want to commend the likes of Dansaki, EcoBank, who really funded me and supported me at the time. They saw it. I started in August because there are different seasons. So the first season, maybe around August, you should be planting for the second season. You do that earlier. You probably harvest around June, July, and a bit into August, depending on your timing. But so if I really want to hit the Christmas, we are planting, we are preparing land again in August. September, we are in. Early December, we have harvested, we are milling, we are hitting the Bronya market. Paddy was 2-3. It made a lot of economic sense. I was investing a couple of $1 million in trade and also in capex. All right, building one of the very modern, mill, world class. By December, it was 6,500. And I have a fair party pricing model because even though I own the land, I do in-growing with the people in the vicinity. So they bring their labor, I don't pay them. I give them all the inputs. They work on the land I have leased from the irrigating facility. And then we value it based on the market. Then you have the importers come around, buy some small 2-3 tons, and you used to redefine the price in the market. So they'll sabotage you. So your price goes up, and that becomes the cost of production, which is equal to the importers' retail price in Accra. First, I couldn't make sense out of it. Even when the dollar was recovering, it was still going up. Only for us to come realize that this is what the importers were doing. At that point, I realized that if you don't have a way to control that thing, they'll keep messing us up every day. And the only way to match
this is what the importers. What is this that they were doing?
What they were doing was to influence your cost of production by influencing the cost of paddy. And they don't have to do too much. They have no investments. They don't own any mills. If they own mills, it's very cheap, some useless thing. And they will just come, once you are dealing with maybe 4,000 tons of paddy, they'll go next door and then double the price of their paddy for just maybe 10 tons. Or 5 tons. Then suddenly that will define the price for the entire 4,000 tons that you are carrying. Now that 4,000 tons will actually lead to it being the cost of your production when you even try and process will be his retail price. His retail price in Accra. You can never compete with that guy. So right ab initio, you are making a loss. Because whilst he has influenced your cost of paddy, he has reduced his retail price for his imported rice. Guess what happened to me? I had to suspend my staff because I was now incurring a cost of 6,500. And these same importers came back and came to buy my paddy from me. After yanking up my price to 6,500. They came back to buy it for me at 4,500 because they realized I couldn't mill and I was stranded. It was it's simple. So quietly, I packed myself. And I told government at the time, if you want to deal with this thing, it means you must align production with your import policy. Ideally, I'm giving you a quota to import because I want us to become self-sufficient with rice. If we are consuming 1 million metric tons of rice, for example, I'll give you maybe 100,000 ton quota for import. But it means that over the next 3-4 years, you should compensate it with production of equal. So there's a certain monetary mechanism in place. Now, if the person importing and the one producing have the same interest, because I'm importing, you not, for the lack of a better word, screw our production. You'll be fair and balanced with it. In another 4 or 5 years, we can be self-sufficient as far as rice is concerned in that matter. But now, that aside, now you come to the current situation. The current situation, besides this risk that existed, which will always be there, so you see a lot of people go in and they come out. The other bit has to do with the cost of production today. And that's why I was quite disappointed with the way that the government managed the recovery of the currency. Honestly, we definitely needed that one, but I don't think that policy was well balanced looking at the implication on local production, which comes back to hurt us in the long run. So there's a short run look at this recovery, and there's a long run look at it. There's a total fiasco as far as you look at the long run one, because there are also no interventions to manage the local production shocks. So we've come down. Everybody is, hey. What has gotten cheaper is imports that have gotten cheaper. But local production has gotten worse because local production cost is still the same. The salaries that we had when the dollar was at 17, I don't see those salaries going down because dollar has gone down. So they have a number of things that still stand where they are. Our cost of funds has fairly changed. Just until recently that we actually seen maybe a downward for corporate borrowing or farmers borrowing, not government's treasury bills. Yes, they've done very well with all that, trying to deal with the macros. But how the macro relates to the micro has not been well thought through. And again, political thinking. That's why I say sometimes the thoroughness of policy is a problem in this country. We do more politicking than we do proper policy making. How are people having a 7% drop in fertilizer, going to be able to match a 35% drop in the cost of imports, assuming world production is the same? Where are we buying from? We are buying from Thailand, we are buying from Vietnam. Do you know what they do in Thailand? The government assures them of the price of paddy. The price of paddy. You go there, I think it's 9,500 baht or whatever their currency is. Today, it's fixed. So they give them different incentive to make sure that the cost to the farmer is always protected. Today, what are we getting from Ghana? Government has said buffer stock something. I think they are giving us about 625 cedis a bag. All right. Okay. So if you are going to match that quality to a certain point, maybe you get to around 550 cedis or 600 cedis your cost. Now, how do you recover your capex? How do you recover your financing cost? The price that has been set, I'm going to come to something else there, is not viable. It is better than maybe you may have now, but you're still making a loss anyway. Then this other part, go and give buffer stock the food, the produce. You stay for 1 year, your money hasn't come. You must not go and lie on the floor. So it's either we are not serious about agriculture, or we are just intellectually bankrupt, morally bankrupt to want to fix what is the easiest win in our country, agriculture. Agriculture is the one transformative policy that can be achieved effectively within a single electoral cycle. If your brain is right and you have proper people around you, you can actually make Ghana rise self-sufficient within a space of 5 years, maximum 6. Most of it will be realized during your one-term cycle. Okay. But there's a problem. I don't know. It's as if we didn't go to school. I don't know how we will explain this kind of thing. So those farmers, they are selling today at a loss. They are selling at a loss. The paddy is at a loss. The rice itself, trying to get it off the shelf, is not happening. It's not a glut. It's a policy problem. It's not as though we've overproduced in Ghana. We haven't overproduced. We're importing over a million tons. And if look, go to agree, they don't even know how much local production is. They don't know. They should speak the truth. The data, they don't have it. I was one of the major producers. Nobody came to ask me exactly how much I was doing in that district. Nobody. Nobody come and calculate what's your milk capacity. Your milk capacity is maybe 5 tons and now 10 tons and now multiply by 8. Then they assume that you are producing the whole year. Then come and tell Ghana, please, they should stop all these things they are talking about. Avnas is not one of the largest. It is the largest. Unless something has changed. 20 ton per metric, 20 ton per hour meal. Look at what's happening there. And it's in Tamale. And they've added another one there. So why is Avnas not buying a single grain? Why? Avnas produces parboiled because of the nature of the northern grain. They don't harvest early, again because of equipment. And you know that place is warmer. So it dries quickly. So when you mill it, the recovery of you may still get maybe your 60 or 65%. But the value is in the longer grain. The longer grain portion will be just so low.
Okay, you catch a breather and let me move on.